So, I want to make a couple disclaimers right off the bat. Number one is I don't normally do live readings or live reactions of chapters. I tend to like to formulate my thoughts and maybe read the chapter 2 or 3 times and then do my review so I feel like I have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. So, if this video comes out poorly, I apologize in advance. It's not my usual style. I just felt like the final chapter of Vinland Saga maybe warranted a live reaction just so you guys can see my natural thoughts. The other thing is, if you haven't already noticed, I have clearly lost my voice. I'm having a difficult time talking. This is just random happenstance that it happened to co-align with the final chapter of Vinland Saga, and I need to record my video like this, so I apologize for the sound of my voice to begin with. But yes, we are here, my friends. Now, I first started reading Vinland Saga back in 2019, so I haven't been on board the journey, as long as some people have, a 20-year telling of a story that is finally culminating now in the final chapter 220. So for the time that I spent on this journey, I absolutely loved it. I adored it ever since the first book. And then catching up with it and being able to review it chapter by chapter, having monthly discussions with you guys, it's been a joy. It's been great, and it really is the end of an era, of even making these videos, and it bums me out. And I do still have Vinland Saga content that I will probably make in the future, but there will probably be a definite break, a definite gap before that continues. But man, getting us to this point, I never really thought the chapter would end now. And I don't want to delay the video any longer. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of collecting my thoughts that this just isn't really something I expected. I really thought it would go on at least another, 10, 15 chapters. But here we are at the finale. So, yeah, we're picking up after Thorfinn said goodbye to Einar at the gravesite, buried next to the Arnid statue. And it looks like the first panel here is them getting ready to depart. So let's see what happens here as the sun is, I'm not sure if the sun is setting or rising right there. But, all right, next panel, Thorfinn, Polmuk, this is for you. Bug Eyes, please interpret. It's wheat. Of course it is, man. Calling back to it all. I'll forever associate wheat with Vinland Saga, for better or whatever that means, for better or worse. It's wheat, not flour. Are you sure it's okay for me to have this? To make up for things just a little, and here, a hoe. A good friend is always going to give you a nice hoe before he leaves. That's true. Nice panel there. Them setting up the boats. Till the earth and scatter the seeds in the fall. And harvest in early summer, right? Got it. I'll give it a try. Really cool, bestowing, the farming knowledge. And, Thorfinn, he didn't know anything about farming, That all came from Einar. It's the only reason he knows anything. I wanted to teach you how to grow it properly, but don't worry. It's a strong crop, so it can grow well even on its own. Bug Eyes said, stop. I can't translate all that. Thorfinn's speaking too fast. Where's Niska? The bathroom. Then he says something in his language. Thank you, friend, basically. Welcome, Palmuk. And then something in their language as well. Let's see. To you too. Holds out his hand. Till we meet again. And this is the shaman, the one that kind of started. Well, everybody has a different role to play in starting the confrontation. But I remember that chapter, that moment was so massive. It was the first time anything truly terrible or violent had happened in a long time, when he rose up the axe. And then Ivyar, shaking hands. And that's what it's all about. I think that this, the imagery of like the handshake, the dedication, the understanding of what's to come next, we saw it with Thorfinn and Einar. And I think that this is a lot of what Yukimura wants to get across: communication and understanding, and a handshake is kind of a symbol of that. But still they have to depart. Now, the thing that's bothering me, and I don't know if it'll be addressed as I go further, is there's still a sword in Vinland. And I I don't feel like it's in Thorfinn's character to just leave that there. So I wonder if that's going to be addressed or just kind of swept to the side. That's because that will be something I would consider a gripe, not one to ruin the story, but just something that I feel is something that probably should be addressed. Setting sail, bit of a bummer. And oh, maybe it will because I see him here. Yeah. So what I like about this too is, in a way, I really like that Thorfinn's plan didn't work out because I think that there's a lot of lesson in failure, and I think it's good to see characters fail sometimes. Maybe not as harshly as Thorfinn did, but I do think that if a story just has a character succeed and succeed and succeed and everything works out in their favor, it's never as interesting as when something fails and you have to figure out what the next step is. Now here, okay, so this is what I'm curious about. So he still has the sword. Bug Eyes interpret. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. Good. I'm glad. This is. See, this is the problem with doing a live reading. I'm thinking about things before I can. I have all the information. Word of warning: throw away that sword. All right. This is what I wanted. If you wish for the Lanu to continue living peacefully on this island for long, throw that sword into the sea. You will succumb to the call of violence. Yes. And that's exactly it, man. It calls back. I say it all the time. That very first moment of child Thorfinn opening the chest and picking up the knife, that allure, that call to violence, that call to the sword, that if it's there, there's going to be some part of you that wants to use it. And I don't think he's going to listen. He takes it, starts laughing. Makes sense, in character. He's not going to throw it away. And then Thorfinn giving this look like he knows exactly what's about to happen. I know Thorfinn, pacifist ideology, I understand. But I am still surprised that he didn't try to do something before he left. But at the same time, enough devastation had happened. I suppose he just didn't want to risk more. And he did give them the warning. So that's fair. And you can see the look in his eyes. Like he's not pissed. That's not the vibe I get from it. I think it's more just sadness of he understands something that they do not. But I guess we'll just have to see what happens with that, or left to our imaginations what happens with that. So they start sailing out. We see our characters here. We got Hild, Cordelia, Bug Eyes. Let's see, what are they doing here? Pulling a ship along with them. Pulling a small boat over. There's that. Bug Eyes jumps on, and it's Niska. What is she doing? Why is she doing this? We decided to live together. Sorry, but I'll be taking this boat. Call it a wedding present. Okay, so what, is he staying behind? I see. I did notice that Niska wasn't around for the goodbyes. Or is she coming with them? Wait, Bug Eyes. I've been thinking about the future too, but this is the only way that we can be together. If I stayed on the island, I'd be killed. I can't pronounce his name. I apologize. But by him and his guys. But if I brought Niska to Greenland, she'd be forced to live like a Nord. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what is going on? Niska will be fine. Everyone knows she's great. She's smart. She'll manage to overcome the cultural... It gets cut off. It's impossible. It's not the cultural differences. The Lanu and the Nords only just finished trying to kill each other. Anyway, so it goes. We talked it over and decided. See us off with a smile. Wait, See, this is why I should have read the chapter first. Where are they going? They're going... I'm not sure. Am I missing something? All right, I'll just keep reading. I'll figure it out. Yeah, anyway, so it goes, talked it over, decided, see us off with a smile. that's that's not a smile by Thorfinn. Call me if you ever need an interpreter. I'll come running. I understand. Congratulations, you two. Niska, take care of Bug Eyes. Surprisingly sophisticated. Interesting. I don't really understand where they're going. I always thought she meant that as kind of, I can do it, you know? Yeah, leave it. It's funny. Congratulations, Niska and Bug Eyes. Take care, you two. Bug Eyes, don't make Niska cry. Live in good health. Bye. Interesting. Okay, so he says, where shall we go? Somewhere not here. I don't know how I feel about all this. I don't hate it, but I do think it's kind of weird that, like, where are they going to go? You know what I mean? Like, how difficult survival is at this point, and there's only two of them. You know, you kind of need, like, a society to help you at this point. I also know there's some discrepancy in the Vinland fandom about their age difference, which I do agree. See, I never realized Bug Eyes was as old as he was. Like, he never seemed that old to me. And, you know, I chalked it up to, like, the time period and the historicalness of it all, because, like, if she's, you know, younger, but, like, older teens, whatever, you know, at that point in time, I mean, people were starting families, and, like, you did live in big communities, and people, you know, like, these things happened, right? So if he was, like, in his early 20s, you know, I probably wouldn't think much of it because of where the story takes place. But I've been told that he's meant to be much older, so that makes it a little bit strange as well. You know, I always like their dynamic together. I like both characters. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I like both characters a lot, and I think both characters have good, pure intentions. But it is strange that Yukimura would make Bug Eyes as old as he is, from what I'm told. I should actually probably look up what his actual age is, but I always thought he was a lot younger, like closer to Niska's age. But I always did like their dynamic together, and, you know, I just don't know where they're gonna go. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, so that's the only thing that's a little bit strange. But we'll move on. We'll keep going. The Saga of the Greenlanders, a 13th century manuscript, describes 6 voyages of Europeans to the land in North America they called Vinland. Thorfinn Karlsefni settlement project was the 5th of these, seems to have been the largest one. As he goes. All right, so these are the characters back home. A lot of them running with joy. And, like, a lot of people did arrive here, like Gudrid and stuff. Like, they left early, so they've been here for a bit. Why did these adventurers travel to the ends of the earth? For the Icelandic trader Thorfinn Karlsefni thought it would be more natural to turn to continental Europe in search of wealth. He could also have made a name for himself by going Viking, but he chose to go pioneering into the new world, right? And I think that's what it comes down to, being able to make your own choices. That's what I think about when I think about Sigurd, you know, and a couple of the other characters. Like, they take what they've learned, but they make their own choices. Also, great to see Gudrid here. And Thorfinn hugging her. To what end? And he finally gets to meet his son, bro. I just thought of that. Oh, my God. I just thought that he hasn't seen his son yet. Holy shit. Wow. Sorry, I'm just staring at this image. This is so wholesome. He finally gets to meet his son. Okay, so now we're back with Pomuk, learning how to farm, learning how to cultivate, throwing the wheat. Einar's teaching, you know, living past his legacy. His legacy lives on, you know. And I think we're going through the process. Again, we're showing how much harder it is to create than it is to destroy. Got to endure the weather, the birds, everything. It's probably going to end with a panel of wheat, isn't it? Yep, it is. What were the prayers for the future? We must not let them die out. Of course, it ends with a panel of wheat. Interesting. All right, I got some thoughts. Hang on. Not the least of which is thank you to the translators for the chapter. Now, I'll say this. Is it a satisfying conclusion? No. Is it a good chapter? Yes, absolutely. There are many things left unsaid, left undone, but in a way, that's life. You know, in Vinland Saga has always been a story to me that is very realistic in the sense that we don't really have like defined good and evil. You know, we have characters that are very complex and they do bad things for good reasons and good things for nefarious reasons. We have characters that meet each other, they leave an impact, and then they separate and never see each other again. Very true to the time period. And we have, things that don't work out. And that's life. Life is not a story where everything has a perfect conclusion. And I feel like Vinland Saga has always been like that. You think about Thorfinn's quest for revenge, gets taken away from him. You know, you think about Einar and his journey. Arnid, already has a husband. Like things don't necessarily work out in a fairy tale way. So Vinland Saga ending on a bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Man, live reactions are tough. Can't gather my thoughts. Vinland Saga ends on a little bit of a hopeful note, I will say, but not a clear resolution. It's like his plan didn't work out. He came back home. He met his child. That's the last time we see Thorfinn. What Thorfinn will do with the rest of his life, I don't know. We don't get to see Leif Erikson, which is a bit of a disappointment since we started the story with him. I personally, I would have liked to see Gudrid have some dialogue here. Or some more dialogue from Hild. Her thoughts about Einar's death. Now, again, I'm not criticizing the chapter. I'm just talking about me as a fan, what I would have wanted to see. And I really thought that the sword being left in Vinland, should have had a little bit more to it. But I also appreciate this chapter a lot. Yukimura, at the end of the day, I was reading some of his tweets that he put out yesterday with the final chapter, and he was saying things along the lines of wanted to show a story of a man getting older and becoming a kinder person. Because that's what he feels like we should all do, is become kinder people. And I get that, and I get that vibe. And the symbolism of the wheat, I think, has always been a testament to that. The ending here, I think works. Because Palmuk is figuring it out. He's learning. He's struggling. He's having the same issues Thorfinn and Einar did, obviously in a much shorter time frame because we only have a couple panels to show it. But I think that is, this symbolizes everything about the struggle, about how long it takes, perseverance, the belief that you can do it, and if you keep going, what could happen. Good things can grow with that perseverance. And I think that is the ultimate message. So the manga ending with the ultimate message, that's great. That works perfect. Where my criticisms come in would definitely be the lack of other characters. Like I said, the lack of Gudrid and Hild having any dialogue here. Not seeing long time, important characters like Knut or Thorkel. I really would have liked to see that. Even if it was just a panel. Or Leif Erikson. Where's Leif Erikson? Did he pass away? He was old, he got shot with a few arrows. Did he pass away? What happened to him? And that's That's the only bummer here for me, is that there's so much that you want to know. But at the same time, I guess that's what you want as a writer, right? You want the audience wanting more. You want to leave them wanting more. So I get that. The farewell to Pomuk is good. The handshake with the shaman is good. Thorfinn, at the very least, addressing the sword left behind is good. A lot of the chapters spent with Bug Eyes and Niska, and again, like, it seems odd for a final chapter to spend so much time on this. And this is the most important panel to me, with Thorfinn getting to meet his child, because there was a time where we weren't sure if that was going to happen. So this is the panel that means the most to me. I don't know. I have mixed thoughts. I have mixed opinions. There's a lot here I love, but there's also, excuse me, so much more I wanted. There's also so much more that I wanted. And maybe that's just me. You know what I mean? That's a me problem of just having these ideas in my head of things that I want to see that I don't get to see. I think what I want to do, and I'm going to wait a while, but when the final volume comes out here in the US, I'm going to go back to the beginning and read Vinland Saga in physical form, with the actual volumes. I'm going to read it from start to finish. And I'm going to see if particularly the Vinland arc feels different, flows different, has a bigger impact on me personally. Because I would rank the arcs. I would go Farmland, number 1, all-timer, 10 out of 10. Then I'd go the first arc, prologue, whatever you want to call it. Then I would go Baltic Sea. And then I would go Vinland. But I really wanted Vinland to hit the top for me. I really did. And I still love it. I love everything. I love the whole story. But that is definitely my definitive ranking of the arcs. Thoughts are mixed, but I will say this final panel is perfect. The final panel with the wheat is perfect. And I'll end on that note. So let me know what you guys think of the final chapter of Vinland Saga. It is the end of an era. Can't believe it. Probably much more to say. But for now, so the video is not too long and my voice can recover, I'll leave it at that. So let me know what you guys think down below. Leave your thoughts, comments, ideas. Share the video. Thank you guys for joining me, man. That's the final thing I'll end with, is that you guys were with me for reviewing all of these chapters. Ever since I caught up in 2020, I've been reviewing Vinland Saga chapters for 5 years, man. So thank you guys, man. Thank you guys for watching. And thank you, Mokoto Yukimura.